Let's go thank them with your father later.
Okay. Our family was poor until I entered elementary school. But occasionally, the bakery next door would give us bread that they were planning to discard, and thanks to that, I never went hungry. Around the time I entered first grade, my father's company grew rapidly, allowing us to live a normal life. Later, I went on to university and joined the nationwide chain Lovekoi Cafe. Now, at 35, I work as a section manager in the product development department at the Tokyo headquarters. Alright, today I'm gonna step into Boulangerie Noto. My current hobby is visiting bakeries. On my days off, I go around different bakeries, carrying the warm memories of my childhood in my heart.
Welcome!
Huh? As soon as I entered the store, I was at a loss for words. Meeting her was just too shocking.
Is something wrong?
Well...
Sawa, can you come to the kitchen for a moment?
Rin and I will handle the customers.
What kind of bread do you like?
Understood. I'll be right there. Please enjoy your time here.
After being called over by another staff member, the employee named Sawa bowed once and disappeared into the kitchen. Feeling disappointed, I bought a few pieces of bread and headed home for the day. Since then, I've been coming to the store regularly, and now I'm a frequent customer of Boulangerie Noto. Boulangerie Noto is a family-run bakery with 4 staff members. The owner, Ruki Noto, his wife Rin, their daughter Runo, and Sawa Akise. The bakers are Ruki and Sawa. Although Sawa has a different last name, she isn't unrelated. She's the stepdaughter of Ruki's late first wife. Ruki said that when he and Rin got married, Sawa asked to dissolve the adoption. He respected her wishes, but still thinks of her as family.
Mr. Yamashita, what kind of bread would you like today? Or are you here for business?
Once, while on a work call outside the store, Ruki overheard and found out I worked for Lovekoi Cafe. Lovekoi Cafe has its own products, but often sources items from local bakeries. His ulterior motive is obvious. Sorry, I'm just here as a customer today.
Haha, just joking. It's before work hours, so there wouldn't be any business talk, right? I'm delighted that you've taken a liking to her bread. Almost all the bread sold here was created by Runo.
Wow, that's impressive.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned you don't have a girlfriend, right? How about her daughter?
That's too much for me.
Oh, come on. I'd be thrilled.
Exactly. I think you two would make a perfect match.
The 3 members of the Noto family laughed merrily. But despite being part of the family, Sawa stayed in the kitchen. Since I became a regular here, I've only seen Sawa a handful of times. There was something unsettling about the atmosphere of the shop, where Sawa seemed to be the only one excluded from the happy environment. A few weeks later, I visited Boulangerie Noto just before closing time, and Sawa was the only one there. Huh? Where is everyone else? Are they in the kitchen?
Oh no. At times like this, before opening or closing, there aren't many customers. So I usually manage everything by myself.
In other words, the Noto family members often left the work to Sawa, coming in late and leaving early. There must still be tasks like preparation or cleaning. They're really just offloading all the work onto her. Don't you ever think about working somewhere else, Sawa? Honestly, I feel like this place is not a healthy environment for you. After a brief silence, Sawa began to speak.
Ruki says I'm the one who wanted to dissolve the adoption, but the truth is it was his idea.
Sawa's mother, Haruna, married Ruki 12 years ago. According to Sawa, it was a truly warm family while Haruna was still alive.
This bakery was originally run jointly by my mother and stepfather. Back then, there were many of my mother's original recipes on the shelves. But after my mother passed away, Ruki became distant with me. Not long after that, he married Rin and moved in here with Runo. However, they pushed all the tedious work onto me, and my stepfather turned a blind eye to it. Runo is also a stepchild like me, but Ruki adores her. Maybe he dissolved the adoption with me because he didn't want anyone besides Rin and Runo to inherit anything. It's possible Runo is his biological daughter.
Sawa had never heard about Runo during Haruna's lifetime. Runo is currently 20 years old, meaning she was born before Ruki married Haruna. Even if Runo is his biological daughter, there's no grounds to blame him for getting married if he didn't know about her beforehand.
This bakery was also my mother's, so I wanted to protect it if possible. But after marrying Rin, Ruki changed the interior, discarded all my mother's recipes, and ignored me when I protested. I don't feel any attachment to this place anymore. The problem is, I've only ever made bread, so I don't feel like I could make a living elsewhere.
In that case, would you like to come work at my company?
Huh?
I'll support you to the best of my ability so that you don't have to worry. And from what I've heard, I'm sure your past experiences will be a great asset in product development at our company. Would you consider it, please?
Why are you willing to go so far for me?
That's because... Upon hearing my serious words, Sawa's eyes widened. Then, when I proposed joining Love Koi Cafe again, she gave a small nod.
So you're saying he's been coming here just for Sawa?
A few days later, Runo, or rather Runo Noto, voiced her displeasure at Boulangerie Noto.
To choose someone like Sawa, who has no redeeming qualities, is ridiculous.
Indeed. What could he possibly see in Sawa? She looks just like that Haruna woman. Being in the same room with her makes my skin crawl.
You never know people's preferences. Well, Sawa only did menial tasks, so I don't care if she leaves. She's not like Runo.
Yes! Leave it to me, Daddy. I'll support this bakery with my ideas.
It's great having a real daughter. She's nothing like Sawa. Even though I found out about you after Haruna's death, I'm so glad you grew up so well. I didn't know Rin had a child after we broke up, but I'm sorry for all the hardships you went through.
Well, it's still unclear whether Runo's father is really him. But fooling a man with an inferiority complex about his wife was just too easy.
Apparently, Ruki was jealous of Haruna's talent as a baker. Rin took advantage of that, using various tactics to win over Ruki and eventually marrying him.
Sawa resembling Haruna was just a stroke of luck. It made Ruki dislike her even more.
Their selfish smiles filled the bakery. A year later, at the product development department of Love Koi Cafe's headquarters, the employees were expressing surprise as they sampled the prototypes.
Wow! This bread is delicious, even when it's cold. And these pastries just melt in your mouth. Miss Akase, you're a genius. When it comes to baking bread or pastries, the quality and ratio of the ingredients have a big impact. It's challenging to get it right, but when something tastes great, it's really rewarding.
Just as I had hoped, Sawa became an instant asset here. Now she even shows a bright smile.
Manager Yamashita, I'm enjoying working here. I know it's a bit late, but thank you. I'm also grateful that my mother's recipes could be turned into products. It was thanks to you talking to the higher-ups that it was made possible, right?
I just took a gamble because I thought they would sell. Only a few of the recipes have been commercialized, though.
Still, I'm really thankful. If I'd stayed at Boulangerie Noto, I wouldn't have been able to make any of those breads.
Shortly after recruiting Sawa, I proposed to Boulangerie Noto that we sell Haruna's original bread recipes. Ruki and the others didn't seem attached to her recipes, so we signed a contract to commercialize some of the breads at Love Koi Cafe. And everything you've created has become a core part of our lineup at Love Koi Cafe. I'm the one who should be thanking you for working here. I truly appreciate it.
After all, you were the one who saved me, Manager Yamashita. My grandparents passed away 15 years ago, so I had no one to rely on. Then you showed up, Manager Yamashita. Of course I'd want to stay by your side and support you.
What? Her flushed cheeks and teary gaze made my heart flutter. For the first time, I felt something new toward her, and my heartbeat wouldn't calm down. That night, after Sawa and I left work, we walked outside the building together. Since joining Love Koi Cafe, Sawa has been living in the company's dorm for single employees. As we were walking side by side, 3 figures suddenly appeared, blocking our way.
Found you! Looking all carefree, you lousy chore girl.
The 3 Noto family members stood in the dimly lit streets. It seemed they weren't even trying to pretend anymore, since I had stopped visiting the bakery.
Stop being selfish and come back to our store now.
That's right. Because you left, there's so much work piled up. Now I have to work from morning to night, and I'm sleep deprived.
It's ruining my beauty. You should be doing all the chores for us. And don't forget to pay for my spa treatments, too.
Oh, that's an odd thing to say. Didn't you say when Sawa joined us, all we need is Runo? Was that a lie?
That's...
You know full well that Sawa's work was not just chores, isn't that right?
Ugh.
Runo's ideas were vague, like, this ingredient is trendy, or this shape is cute. It was Sawa who turned those ideas into recipes and made them into successful products. You probably thought, if Sawa can do it, I can too. As a result, Boulangerie Noto's reputation has fallen apart in the past year. Quality has declined. The unusual breads look unappetizing. The shop doesn't open on time. Those are just some of the negative reviews found online. You try to follow Sawa's recipes, but it was harder than you expected, wasn't it? And relying on Sawa to do all the work in the mornings and evenings backfired on you. You've grown so accustomed to starting late and leaving early that you can't even manage to open the shop on time.
No way. So the drop in our sales was because
Sawa left?
You really didn't notice, did you? I guess that explains the things you've said.
Sawa, I'm sorry about earlier. The store isn't doing well, and I lost my temper.
Boulangerie Noto is still your mother's bakery too. You don't want it to close, do you?
That's right. Why don't you rejoin the Noto family and live with us again?
Sawa, please teach me how to bake. No, thank you. Boulangerie Noto no longer looks like my mother's store. You changed the interior that she worked so hard on, and you stopped selling her original recipes. Do you really think I'd feel any attachment to such a place? And stop pretending to be family. It's disgusting. I haven't forgotten how you treated me over the past 3 years.
They must have realized Sawa wouldn't negotiate with them. Now they were trying to appeal to me instead.
You recruited the talented Sawa to your company. Love Koi Cafe's sales must have improved because of it, right? Then, as a gesture of thanks, your company should start buying bread from us.
Yeah, that's right. Our sales dropped because of Sawa leaving, so Love Koi Cafe should compensate us.
You're the manager, aren't you? You can use your position to get us in as a supplier, can't you?
Ridiculous. If you valued Sawa, she wouldn't have needed to leave in the first place. Don't blame your own incompetence on my company. No business would willingly buy low-quality products. Instead of making such naive demands, why don't you work on improving your bakery's reputation? Well, if that's all you have to say, we'll be going now. As we turned to leave, a quiet voice cut through the night.
Don't you dare walk away from me.
Rin Noto's voice echoed in the empty street as she glared at Satoru Yamashita and Sawa Akise.
How dare you act all high and mighty when we're struggling here? You're just going to abandon us. That's so cold-hearted. Your mother, Haruna, must have been the same, wasn't she? That's why her daughter and anyone close to her are so heartless.
Yeah, that's right. Haruna was a completely selfish woman. Before we got married, I thought she was kind and charming, but in reality, she only flaunted her baking skills to make me feel worthless.
Oh my. Doesn't that sound exactly like these two? Like mother, like daughter, huh?
What the hell did you just say?
Eek!
My anger surged, making my whole body tremble because... Say whatever you want about me, but if you insult Haruna or Sawa one more time, you'll regret it. Haruna was my benefactor. As I said before, until I started elementary school, my family was poor. It was Haruna and her husband at Akise Bakery who would give us bread that was supposed to be discarded.
Thank you, Haruna. The bread you gave us was so delicious.
Oh, you're such a polite boy, Satoru.
Now that I think about it, the amount they gave us seemed more than what would normally be thrown away, and some of the bread was quite fancy. It's possible that they baked extra just for us sometimes. As our living conditions gradually improved, we started buying lots of bread from Akise Bakery as a way of showing our gratitude. But just then, Haruna's husband suddenly fell ill and passed away.
I'm pregnant with his child, and once the baby is born, I'll be moving to Tokyo. My parents will help me raise the child.
Shortly after the funeral, Haruna moved to Tokyo. After that, Haruna and my mother continued exchanging letters, but the correspondence suddenly stopped one day. I later found out it was around the time when Haruna's parents had passed away, so she was probably going through a lot. But even so, I never forgot my desire to find Haruna someday and repay her kindness. Haruna must be working at a bakery somewhere in Tokyo. I just knew it. When I was transferred to the Tokyo headquarters 4 years ago, I took the opportunity to visit every bakery I could find. Yes, my hobby of bakery hopping was actually my quest to find Haruna. And 1 year ago, I finally met Sawa. Even before I heard her name, I could tell she was Haruna's daughter. Not only did she look like Haruna, but her kind demeanor and the way she showed concern for me were just like her. I am who I am today because I met Haruna and her family. When I recruited Sawa to our company, I told her the story. She seemed to have heard the same from Haruna and accepted my words without hesitation. You dare call Haruna heartless? Have some respect! You're being abandoned because you've done nothing to deserve otherwise. After trampling all over Haruna and Sawa's feelings, did you think they'd help you? It's too late to try and make amends now. The pain you caused Sawa won't just disappear. And as for me, I have no intentions of ever seeing your faces again.
Since I resumed using the Akase name, I have no attachment to any of you. And Boulangerie Noto is no longer my mother's bakery. If the tasks I handled were just chores, then the three of you should be able to manage them by dividing the work. Either way, family matters should be settled within the family. I'm not a member of the Noto family anymore.
With nothing left to say, the Noto family slinked away. Shortly after, there was a food poisoning incident at Boulangerie Noto. Because they overslept, the preparation was rushed, and they sold undercooked bread.
It wasn't her bakery's fault.
The Noto family tried to deny responsibility to the health inspector and customers, but it was proven otherwise. Due to their lack of remorse, they were slapped with a long-term business suspension. As a result, with its reputation destroyed, Boulangerie Noto eventually closed down.
I should never have married you just because you ran the bakery.
What? You deceived me, so how dare you act like a victim? Runo isn't even my daughter. The DNA test proved it.
After a bitter divorce, the Noto family fell apart. Ruki Noto struggled to find work due to the food poisoning scandal, and paying compensation to the victims and debts was a constant burden.
How am I supposed to survive now?
Rin Noto, now known as Oda Rin, was sued for fraud by Ruki in order to pay alimony. Her attempts to use men for money backfired, and she ended up being taken advantage of herself.
Even Mom and Dad abandoned me.
Oda Runo took on a string of part-time jobs, but couldn't change her habit of pushing tasks onto others with her charms. As a result, she struggled to keep a job, living a hand-to-mouth existence. Meanwhile, at Love Koi Cafe, a sister bakery cafe was set to open as a community-based store. Since it will be located in my hometown, Sawa and I were put in charge of its management. We could choose the products freely, so many of the breads Haruna's family had created were featured in the store.
Even though it's my first time here, it feels strangely nostalgic. Do you think it's possible that I remember being here while I was in my mother's womb?
That makes me happy. It's like we share the same memories. But from now on, we'll create many more memories together, right, Sawa?
Yes, Satoru.
Not long after the Noto family's outburst, Sawa and I began dating. Now, we're in a serious relationship with marriage in mind, and I've already introduced her to my parents. When they saw her, they cried with joy, saying she looked just like Haruna. Helping others is easier said than done, but it's important to be grateful when someone does help. Haruna, I'm sorry it took so long. If you're watching from heaven, please look after us. I, Satoru Yamashita, promise to dedicate my life to making Sawa happy.
Hello, your lovely Brittany here. That was a nice little Cinderella-esque story. I love those kind of stories. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you lovely people in the next video. Bye!